Good morning, YouTube land. Welcome back. We are out here bright and early on this beautiful Saturday morning. Just opened the gate, bringing the sheep up here on the fresh grass. But what we're doing today, guys, we got a big day here on the farm. We are going to butcher our boar Ziggy. I've been talking about this for a little bit, and it's a huge step as far as bringing in a new pig breed on our farm. So stick with us. We'll walk you through that process. Definitely going to be a busy day for us. Typically what we do, guys, we will dispatch the pigs and then we will just take the tractor, keep them on the forks hanging, and drive them back over to my mom and dad's place. That's where we do all our processing here. Being that Ziggy is a much larger animal, I got my trailer hooked up. I call it my rig. My wife was making fun of me. Got the Jeep and the trailer. Definitely everything but a rig, but we got the trailer behind us. We're gonna go into the pasture here as I'm at the gate, and we might just need to use that to haul him back over there. So I'll catch you down on the other side. So we're gonna shut the gate just in case. You never know, I'd rather just take that extra 20 seconds. God forbid. Things do happen when you try to do this. I always say the kill or the dispatch process, that's always the most stressful part. You just want to make sure you get a clean, humane kill. Being that he is a larger animal, it means we're going to be using a little bit of a larger caliber rifle, just to make sure. I know some people say that's overkill, but if you've ever wounded an animal, you would certainly agree with me. So we're going to go ahead and do that. I can't show you. I put a video out last year, said the exact same thing. YouTube, for whatever reasons, won't let you do that. So we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna do this, and then I will meet you on the other side when we get this animal out of the pasture and hung up. Well, guys, we got him down. Didn't exactly go as planned. Anytime you do enough on-farm processing, unfortunately, you're gonna have some bad experiences. It's just the nature of kind of, I guess, the job is what you'd say. Took the first shot and wounded him, which is always tough. You know, the big thing is you got to try to stay composed. You know, I probably wasn't the best at doing that, because instantly, you know, you're upset with yourself, you know, for not placing the shot correctly and so forth. But we did get him down on the second shot, more so in the middle of the pasture, so it made a lot more work. We actually had to get the tractor, get a rope to it to drag him out to the edge, and then get him onto the forks, as you guys saw. So we're taking him over to my mom and dad's now. We're gonna hang him and we'll continue the process along. But it's been a wild morning already, so hopefully the rest of the day goes a little easier for us. So now we moved on to hanging. We chose to skin this guy out. In years past, we had given the scolding method a shot, and let me tell you guys, if you've never scolded a pig, I dare you to try. You probably won't want to do it again. And if I never have to scold another pig, I am more than happy with that. So we decided to skin this animal. Understandably, you're going to lose a little bit of the fat. It's just the nature of the process. Most of the time, we end up breaking these cuts down anyway, and we're removing the skin. So it's just much easier to go this way, we've found. Now, this was a large animal. The most common question, obviously, you're going to ask yourself and that you're going to get from others when you're processing is, what does he weigh? So we did get a weight before we began our skinning process here. I actually have a hanging scale, but judging by how difficult it was to drag him out, we didn't even attempt. Obviously, we're not going to try to kill ourselves to get a weight on this animal. So we actually went with the old school measuring approach. He turned out to be 446 pounds by that measurement, which I've always found to be pretty accurate. Now, even if you want to go on the conservative side, we're still talking over 400 pounds for Ziggy here, so definitely a large animal. And being that he was for personal use, the exact weight really didn't matter to us. So we moved him inside once he was split. We got one half in the cooler. The other half we went right to work on. You can actually process pork while it's still warm. It's not going to hurt anything. It doesn't need to age like beef would. So we got right to work. My butchering skills are not exactly that of a trained butcher, but I do believe it's something that everybody should at least learn to do a little bit of. We can get by. Some of our cuts look a little wonky, but at the end of the day, we're putting meat in our own freezer, so that's really what it's all about for us. It's also something I do thoroughly enjoy doing, just getting in there and seeing the end result of a product that you produced. So we were working here. We finished the first half during this day, and we actually went back the next day and finished the second. Admittedly, it is a little easier when the animal does sit and kind of firms up a little bit. It's a little easier to get nice clean cuts, but nevertheless, we were able to get the job done, and we got a ton of meat in our freezer. So majority of what we processed out here was going to be, we took a bunch of chops, we took a bunch of roasts. I like cutting the front and the ham, I should say the front shoulder and the ham into roasts. We just tend to make a lot of crock pot meals like that while we're away at work. Got a bunch of grind meat off of this animal. I'd say roughly 90-ish pounds. I did weigh some of that out, so I have a pretty good estimate on what we have going on there. Obviously, we saved the ribs, we saved the bacon, which we'll all make at a later date. We'll do sausage at a later date, like I said, with a lot of the grind meat. So we got work ahead of us. At some point over the winter, we'll wait for a nice cold, snowy, cold, rainy day, something like that, and we'll knock that job out. But in the meantime, we got plenty of other cuts that we can feast away on, and we certainly have been doing so. My biggest concern, and I mentioned this before we processed him, was being that he is a 2-year-old boar, what was going to happen with the taste of the meat. You always hear, the old boar taint conversation going around. Will this animal have boar taint? Could potentially a 400-pound animal be ruined? And we processed them really for nothing. That was obviously my concern. I did a bunch of research, low percentage risk on both the breeds that were involved in this cross. And quite frankly, we were moving on anyway to a different breed, so I was willing to take the risk. We would have had an alternative anyway. And fortunately for us, zero boar taint from what I can tell. I had my dad try some, my mom tried some, kind of passing this. We first fried up the tenderloin right away just to really get a feel for what we were working with, and I thought it was fantastic. The meat was nice and tender, good flavor. If anything, it has a pork flavor, which is going to happen when you're raising pastured pork. You're not going to have that bland store-bought flavor, and we were really just satisfied that we made it through with no issues as far as boar taint, and we were able to have a consumable product. So as far as we're concerned, we have not had a pig with boar taint. I am not going to sit here and tell you that it's not a thing, because it's absolutely a thing, or it wouldn't be talked about so frequently. But fortunately, in our instance, we definitely did not run into that. So that's it for processing day, guys. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, drop them below. We appreciate it, and we will be with you soon. Take care, guys.